Okay, so this is my Sunn beta lead pedal. Maybe called a beta lead if you're in America, but I'm English, so I call it beta lead. It's a lead and bass, so it's got a lead and bass switch. You can use it on guitar, you can use it on bass. I've in my demo I've done everything. I've tried it on guitar, I've tried it on bass, I've tried it with a rat pedal. So you'll get to hear all that later on in the video. Everything's going through my orange micro dark and through a 4x12 Marshall, and for the bass it's going through a bass Terra and a 200 watt Ampeg and my ESP limited bass guitar active pickups. This pedal is based on an amp, a solid state guitar amp, which was from vintage era. I mean, I'm not sure what year it was built, maybe someone drop it in the comments, but I know that it started to become popular with bands like Nirvana and Melvins. I'm pretty sure Kurt Cobain would have probably been influenced by the Melvins because he was a massive Melvins fan. I reckon that the Melvins probably used it first. It was definitely on some of their earlier records, and it was used on Bleach, so I reckon at that time Kurt Cobain was massively influenced by Melvins around the Bleach era, so I'm pretty sure he took one look of King Buzzo's rig and thought, I'm gonna have one of those because I want to sound like the Melvins. Anyway, they've become more popular with bands like, you know, drone bands like Sunn using these on stage. They've definitely made the Sunn logo and brand very popular indeed with their brand of drone music. But yeah, definitely big with sludge music and grunge stuff like that. So what do I think of it? It's weird because this pedal doesn't feed back. It's a preamp pedal, and it's got a lot of IC chips in it, a lot of CMOS technology, as it says on the front, which is a digital chip which probably came out at the time, but I mean, you can get them anywhere now. So it's hardly cutting edge technology now, but back in the day it probably was. This digital technology was taking over the tube amps, and so it's probably the first solid state guitar amp that was using these digital chips. So it was all wow technology back then, that you could have these in a guitar amp. So these have now, with popularity and everything, with Sunn and everything, that people have been making them into guitar pedals on the DIY kind of circuit. I've seen them a lot on the DIY circuit. A lot of people have been making the Model T as well as a pedal. Some people have been even putting tubes inside them as a pedal. I don't know why. I think tubes inside of guitar pedals are a bit silly. Anyway, opinions aside, this is probably one of the most complicated Vero circuits I've ever made. It's just because of the sheer size of it. It is pretty much the size of this box. I'm not going to open this up again because it took me so long to put it all together and cram the bloody thing in there with the switch and with all the pots. So forgive me for not showing you the guts. Go on my Instagram, it's on there. Unholy Audio. I'll give you a test through this with my rig that I mentioned. I don't really tend to go around the low gain stuff. I'm playing mostly high gain stuff. That's just my preference. That's what I like to play. That's what my channel's all about. It's about the music I like. So, you know, I love all that 90s grunge stuff. It's stuff I grew up on. Sludgy grunge stuff. I love Sunn, and they're all high gain kind of stuff. The only thing that I mentioned before, I did a part 1 of this pedal when I just had it as guts. I think I used the wrong capacitors in here, so when you turn the treble middle and the bass right up, it's a bit screamy. But I think I didn't use low leakage capacitors because I didn't have any to hand. But it is what it is, it works, and it gives me a little taste of what this amp may have sounded like back in the day. So without further ado, This is my demo, firstly on guitar and secondly on bass, of the Sunn beater lead and bass sound. Enjoy. swampy, really swampy, and that's the sound we like.